Hello, practice program participants. My name is Karen Kemmerling, and I am one of the ALJ guides in the community as well as the coordinator for the practice program. So I get the great opportunity to share with you a little bit about setting a practice goal for this program. And through a tool called the Catalyst Canvas. And so the cool thing about this program is that you're really getting the opportunity to practice. So you have cohort sessions weekly. In between the sessions, the idea is that you are working on your craft. You are working on your leadership. And I love the distinction between random practice and deliberate practice. And so with regular practice, if it's just mindless, what I would say lots of effort and courage without purpose and direction, you end up with potentially a goal that you weren't hoping to accomplish, or maybe less progress than you'd hoped for. So deliberate practice with a specific goal will really help create improvement. And the visual I have on here, this picture of these women shooting, actually practicing either free throws or a set shot, in this case, is great because I played college basketball, and it reminds me of we would prepare for each team we were going to play. And we didn't just go to practice and run lines and scrimmage. We thought about who we were going to play. We knew who their guards were, who their big shooters were, how good their center was, all of that, if they had a good bench or not, and so forth. So we had a plan. Now, we went through a lot of repetition related to how to be in shape, and we didn't just do it once, we did it every day. So it wasn't like, we tried to work out for 8 hours and then go play. We played every single day, and we practiced every single day with a specific goal. So this is some way for me to share with you a little bit about how important it is to have a goal, and how important it is to do that repetitively with that focus in mind, as opposed to just doing work. Here's another, and I borrowed this from Pete, which I love. Nathan Milstein is a violinist, and he started to practice all day long, and he asked his teacher, hey, how long should I practice? And the interesting thing is his teacher says, well, it doesn't really matter how long you practice, because if you practice with your fingers, no amount of time is enough. But if you practice with your head, with the focus, 2 hours is plenty of time. So that exemplifies the same point, and I thought it was really worth sharing. Here's another example. If you're interested in deliberate practice, there's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, which really walks through how do you make things stick? How do you practice things that become part of your day-to-day DNA and really change your behaviors? So check that out if you're interested. The blog is actually listed here too. So setting an intention for this program, again, each of the modules that we have, there's 8 modules in the program, and you'll meet each week, and you're going to break down those modules into pieces and parts and components, and you'll get the opportunity to practice. So you'll meet with your cohort in a great safe space that will hopefully be warm, inviting, but challenging. But the intent is that you will practice in between with the focus. And so this Catalyst Canvas that I want to introduce is going to help you kind of collect your thoughts and think about what do you want to accomplish through this program. And then each week you can practice at work, at home, and with your cohort. So the Catalyst Canvas, which was adopted from what we call the V2 MOM, which stands for Vision, Values, Methods, Obstacles, and Measures, which came from Salesforce.com. We've continued to iterate at ALJ on that theme, and we now have come up with a Catalyst Canvas. I know in my experience when we were using the V2 MOM, many times we would get a little too focused on this vision word and get hung up on this big, gigantic, grandiose thing that we tried to wordsmith and overdo. And so I really like this because it simplifies the process by taking in the middle of this sort of bullseye, these quadrants. It's like, well, what is it that we wish to accomplish? So if you think about your program, really think about, well, why did I join this program? What is it that I hope to accomplish? And then in the left-hand quadrant, it's, why is that important now? What makes this important to your leadership now? And if you go below, it's like, what might be some of the obstacles? What might be some things that might get in the way of you actually accomplishing your goal? And then I would encourage you to go crosswise up to the small steps and think about, if there's some obstacles, what are some small steps that you might be able to take to overcome them, and vice versa. But the cool thing about obstacles is it really helps you have some aha moments along the process where you're like, it's almost a relief to kind of focus on those and get those out, as opposed to just getting into, here's what I'm going to do. So the process is healthy to kind of walk through, what's the goal? Why now? What are some obstacles? What might I do to overcome some of those? And then how do I know I'm making progress? So take some small steps, slices I would call them, inspect and adapt in your small steps, and then think about, how are you doing? Share your progress with your cohort, with your colleagues, with your spouse, with your kids, all that stuff, because they're all key stakeholders in your life and in your leadership. So the next step would be to fill out your own practice Catalyst Canvas. So inside the LMS following this video, there's a download of this steps you walk through, and just fill it out and then re-upload it into your folder on the LMS, and then share it with your cohort and go through it, get their perspective, get to know each other's perspectives, what people's goals are, so that you can help each other along the way. More importantly, all together, enjoy the journey. Thanks.